Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lighten Up Podcast. I'm Dave Kimura along with Mike Marlowe. The Lighten Up Podcast is here to help you with tips and tricks of the trade when it comes to the holiday lighting business. Our first topic for today, as we get to August, I wanted to talk to Mike about upgrading the job. When we talk about upgrading the job, this premise is going to be about new clients as they want their roof line. What are the upgrades that you can add in there that are quick and easy? And then when you talk about renewal clients, what are things you can do to add to their job? So, Mike, welcome back.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Very good, very good. Thank you. So, again, it's August already.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, renewal letters are on their way out.
Yes.
Renewal letters are on their way out. They're going out.
That's right.
And so, in this business, when you let's talk about renewals first.
Yes.
What are the things? What are some tricks? What are some things that you can help clients with as far as how do I upgrade that business? How does that job that they're just like, I just want it to be exactly the same, because again, most people that are in the holiday lighting business that are having their houses decorated, they don't know what they don't know.
That's right.
So how do you get to that situation where you can help upgrade them or help them to add to their whole ambiance per se for the holiday season?
Yeah, so I'll go back into renewal letters first, because renewal letters are kind of key that you can start anytime. It doesn't mean that you have to start in July or August or September. There's clients out there that I know that actually go out and get clients sold in May and deposit down before they even put their first bulb back up on that house in October or November. But when you think about a renewal letter, the one thing that in my vision, a renewal letter is about communication to your client. So the communication is really key to make sure that what's the purpose? Of course, they know that they want holiday lighting because they were a client of yours before. You're looking as a business owner, you're looking as retention because you want to make sure you're filling up your schedule. But what if, like you were saying about add-ons, right? So when you talk about an add-on, one thing is like if you don't send a flyer or even just a picture of a product and say add this for this amount, how's the customer supposed to know that? Because if you start building your business, you're not going to have the time to talk to every client. Some of it has to be automated in your system and your sales process of renewing them. That you have to kind of, let's say you didn't do a really good job year before as a decorator, and like, I didn't sell any wreaths. Well, then to me, that should be a mission for you to sell some wreaths, even if it's a 36-inch wreath or 48-inch wreath in peaks or different parts of the home. You just go out there in a flyer, here's a picture of a couple different wreaths, here's your pricing with the sizes, add on with a checkbox, and then send that out with the renewal letter. Because like I said, it's all visual. Our business is all visual, so you have to have a really nice checkup that way. And that's renewal letters. I mean, that's something that I feel like it gets underplayed enough.
Well, let's stay there for a minute. I'm glad you brought that up because it's August. We're talking about renewal letters. Let's do a little piece of it there. As you drill it back as far as renewal letters, right? Just kind of overview of what do you put on that renewal letter? Mm-hmm. What do you allow your clients to do with the renewal? Right? Is it do you give them the option to change a color, change a scenario, whatever that might be? Just talk a little bit about what you allow people to do with the renewal letter.
Well, I think a little bit, it's almost like because you can do a letter as well as an email, because a lot of people respond both different ways. But obviously you want to kind of talk about what the upcoming season's about, because you really got to get their mindset in the first paragraph, like, oh, this is my Christmas contractor. This is my Christmas decorator. Oh, yeah, okay, he's got this. Oh, look at this. All right, this is my price for this year. And then I need to put so much percentage down. Some people are a little scared to do 50% down, so maybe do 25, or you can even, I've had some companies that do 100%. But at least get some kind of monetary deposit, so then that's skin in the game for them, as well as then how set they are to make sure they want to hire you.
So with that deposit, I'm just thinking out loud here, is that deposit, so for example, I'm a former client, mm-hmm. You've been doing my holiday lights for X amount of years or whatnot. When I put that deposit down, if for example something happens, and I know this is a business transaction, but if something happens and I decide to not do my holiday lighting, is that deposit refundable? Is that deposit usually not? Is that part of the contract?
Yeah, it's all part of how you write that into the contract or the agreement. So you can say non-refundable, or you can say 15%. It's kind of like a restocking fee that you would send something back and you get hit with a 15 or 25%. It's no different. Now, let's say a client's going to move to a different city.
Yeah, you can obviously decide.
I would take the premise if you take care of your clients how you want to be taken care of, good karma will always come back.
Right.
So just treat them right. But you also got to protect your business. Most likely, in this kind of industry, you don't have a lot of people just like bailing. And if you do, there's a reason why they're bailing. That's probably part of your operations or lack of communication to your client. So there's a lot of different reasons why a client would bail and go to somewhere else.
Perfect. So in that renewal letter, like we're to touch back again. So are they allowed to change what they're going to do, or is this just renewal letter that says we still want to do business with you, and then maybe there's an email or a touch point where hey, is everything going to be standard, or did you want to add or subtract?
Yeah, so in the business wise, you really don't want to open up too much to a client. Even though our first pitch with the clients is like, oh, you can change your colors every year, right?
Right.
Well, we don't really come back out and say that every year, because if you did, then that's just going to cause more work on the prep and stuff. Now, if a client comes back and says, hey, can I change colors? Not a problem. But you don't want to voluntarily give everybody that option, because you could be changing out hundreds of houses when you didn't want to.
Right.
Because then it's extra time. So, but it's a good key not to, I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can look at that. It says, do you let them do it? If you are going to let them change their colors, I would say you have to have notification by August 1st at the latest. Anything after August 1st, I would put a monetary dollar, if it's $1 per bulb, 50 cents a bulb to prep that, so you're paying your team to be able to prep those bulbs for that house or project.
Perfect. So to finish up with the renewal letter, obviously it's a major part of the business.
Yes.
And I didn't want to.
Sometimes it gets overstepped. There's some people think, I'll get it out. But I'm telling you, if you don't take it serious and know that, because you can look at it this way, if you do it right, you can gain 30% more sales just from your client base if you treat them like it's still a first-year client.
Right.
Because as a first-year client, you're spending all that time to go close that business, right? But if you take your renewal clients and treat them that same way, you will get more sales, and you're already going there anyway. Your team's already going to that project. Why not go add more sales to one project that you're already driving to?
And so do you feel, like you said, you had mentioned the renewal letter and or the email. Is there a process for renewal letter? If you don't hear back, then it's an email?
Yeah, I think you got to have somewhat of a couple, I don't know what the right word is, but there has to be some trickle. Like you do the email that goes out,
trigger.
Then you send a letter out. You can even do a letter saying a whole different letter. Hey, just keep your eye open for the renewal letter, and that could be the first letter goes out, then an email, then a letter, then a phone call from your sales team, and then a text, and then another email. And then, so you got to have, I would say, at least 7 steps,
right,
to be able to make sure that you're doing everything possible that client understands. And then if it goes beyond that, then you would, after 2 weeks, then you keep on doing it in 2 weeks until you get a no.
Yeah.
Because I would look at it that way, because it's hard to get clients sometimes. Depends on where you're at. But some people might think, it's easy, I don't care about them. Well, if you don't care about your clients, then why are you in business? So I think you still always got to take that communication to the next level to really keep that renewal percentage up above 90%.
Okay. Well, good. I know you kind of started to touch on a little bit with the wreaths, but so going back to upgrading the job. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith has got your renewal letter.
Right.
They've come back and they said yes, but that yes is obviously an open yes because you have not pitched them or whatever, decided whether it would be wreaths or add-ons or garland or whatever things you might want to add on. So for someone who doesn't know, right, they get the yes back from Mr. and Mrs. Smith. What are some things, whether even being that trickle-down effect from the email or whatever that might be, that can help add, like you mentioned about wreaths, that can help add value to the job?
Yeah, so if you start talking about adding product to existing projects. So each project, maybe they already had wreaths and garlands. Maybe it's going to be something different. Maybe it's like the glimmer spray, the stake light set, or stake or different spheres to hang up on the porch. You have to understand a little bit by each project, but I also look at it as a general. So Wreaths and garlands are easy to add onto a flyer. Now, some of these emails that we just talked about, you can throw a product, hey, check this product out. I would almost do the point, if you have the time as a decorator could prep themselves ahead of time, go do a quick video and then send a video out. More people need to see it and see how it twinkles, if there's any motion spheres, or maybe it's a foldable sphere, maybe it's a different kind of light set to put in a tree. Maybe it's a champagne light set when they were all just doing warm white. Those are all add-ons because you can kind of, you're still going to that job. Now, when you start thinking about the product, I would look at it, if I was going to create a flyer, I would take my top 3 items right away would be like your ultra bright, your glimmer spray, ultra bright spheres. Those are the spheres that light up. Your glimmer spray, as well as maybe your radiant blast, or not radiant blast, but the supernovas or whatever it might be, something like that has some kind of motion to it. My next tier would be wreaths and garlands, and then I would just do 2 sizes of wreaths. I do a 36 and 48, and when I would do the renewal letter, I would put that price as, because we do a lease model, so I would do that price where that's what's getting added to the bill. Like, let's say a glimmer spray, let's say a cost is $20. I'm going to rent that out for $35, maybe $40. Depends on where you're at. So I'm going to say $40, add what, and then list out all the colors.
Right.
So, and then I would just have that listed down, and that could be a follow-up with your sales team. Say, hey, did you have a chance to check on that letter that we had with this new products we're bringing out? Your client doesn't know they've been on the market for years. It's just a new product.
Right. And so there's kind of a two-part scenario to that. You have the part where you're talking about your top 3 add-ons, right? You had mentioned something about your glimmer sprays and whatnot, and then your wreaths and your garland, right? Mm-hmm. That there's also that part that you had mentioned earlier about things that you did not do well as a company per se in the year before. Of those 3, right? You don't want to, obviously, most times you're not adding more C9 bulbs, you're not adding things like that. But those are specific add-ons that are low in labor, that have a great return on them. But those are the things that most people sometimes don't think about selling, right? Those other things in the landscape, those wreaths, wrapping, wreaths over the garage, wrapping the entryway, those type of things. So it's a little bit of understanding what those SKUs are for you as a decorator. Right. And I think the other thing would probably be, and I'll let you touch on this, but a lot of decorators that I come in contact with as I talk to them, sometimes they're afraid, is probably a bad term, but they're afraid of the wreaths and garland.
Yeah, it's wreaths and garlands has always been notorious, something that people like, I don't want to deal with it. Because they think it's more of a designer type mentality, and if they're truly just an installer that has a decorating business, they really don't get that next level of being a designer. I think all true professional decorators have to have a little design in them, and the wreaths and garlands, the reason why I like selling them and I like using them, been using them for multiple years, is because it gives that daytime effect, but you can always mix in different type of bows to kind of add more elegance to it. And it's really not that, it's not as hard if you go about and just do more installs. Yes, you got to put an anchor in here. There's a little more, it's more time,
right?
But it's so much more for the project.
Now, this is a shameless plug here, but obviously you want to make sure that you have the right wreaths and garland, right? Yeah. You want them to be a full, I know the ones that we carry at Lights for Christmas are full and to our standards and those type of things, which, you got to be sturdy frames. There's a lot of junk frames out there that are, I would call them more like a 3mm frame where you can even bounce it and it's just going to be up and down. It sucks. But so do you feel like maybe that sometimes the product can deter people from wanting to deal with a wreath or garland because it wasn't very sturdy, it wasn't very
full,
user friendly as far as being able to hang it, those type of things? Is having the right product to also have those add-ons a bonus? Yeah,
no, it is, and a lot of times too, get the pre-lit stuff. Don't try to get unlit and wrap it yourself. If you want it, great, but I'm telling you, just knowing the sources and the factories I've been to, you want them right from the factory putting those lights in. And that's another way. You can always look at different themes, red and green, white, pure white, multi. So
right.
But yeah, I always look at Reese and Garland's as kind of a, as we talk about, if you're getting into the business, right, you're going to have to learn a couple things pretty fast. You got to learn how to estimate, you have to learn how to market, and then the next thing is then you deep dive into knowing the product more, and usually Reese and Garland's are like one of the last things people really kind of start to master. Cool.
Well, obviously, as we wrap up this small portion of it, a couple things to think about, right? It's August, your renewal letters. Mm-hmm. Having a great renewal letter out, having all the things that you want in that renewal letter, deciding what portion, if any, you want to take in, 50%, 25%, whatever that might be. Second part is on the upgrade of the job. Know your top 3 SKUs that you're looking to upgrade or that you need to upgrade based on your inventory, and then go out and sell that, whether that be with a one-pager or whatever that might be. Go out and get that done by planning ahead and making sure your sales team and everybody is wrapped up for that. So again, for this episode, I'm Dave Kimura.
Mike Marlowe.
We appreciate you guys coming on the Lighten Up podcast, and we look forward to seeing you next time.